And we got a call coming in, Mr. Jason Lynch. Thank you for calling Tap Detroit. This is Auditory Slam. Who is this?
This is Jason Lynch, CJ. How you doing?
Hey, man, how are you?
I'm doing great.
I say we were just rocking out.
Yeah, absolutely.
For the listeners, this is Mr. Jason Lynch. Once again, one of the people who submitted... Oh, wait a minute. One of the people who submitted through Reverb Nation. Let me get the levels right. There we go. He sent a awesome set of songs. One of them being a very cool, very original version of Little Red Corvette.
Yeah, that one really, I was very happy with the way that one came out. We kind of put just sort of a dark metal treatment on that one, and I think the end result was pretty cool.
It was amazing. It was, like you said, it was very original, unlike any other version I've ever heard, and I've heard a ton of amazing artists cover that song. But
yeah, thank you very much. You know, when you talk about an artist like Prince, it's almost like, you know, where do you begin in terms of choosing a song of his to cover, because he's just so incredible. But that one, to me, I just always thought it was you know, a really great melodic kind of pop song, and to put kind of like a hard rock twist on it, I always thought would be really interesting. So yeah, I'm glad you did.
Yeah, he has one song in particular that I've always wanted to put another full band together, because he has one song in particular that I just absolutely want to turn into a crushing rock song. And
which one is that?
A song, Thieves in the Temple.
Oh, okay.
That song to me had just... It's an amazing song in and of itself, but to me it's always screamed that it really needs a very dark, sinister guitar tone to it, or added to it. You know, not really a thrash style, but just something that's very, like I said, dark and sinister, and it has a very mean tone to it. You know, a buzzy tone almost, and it's just one of those songs. The way he sings it and the lyrical content is, you know, is very fitting for a lot of stuff that's going on. And
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and he's such a great guitar player. You know.
Yes.
You have, when you talk about his music, there's so much room because the writing is so good. You could very easily interpret it and kind of rearrange it in your own way.
Right. I mean, I've heard some, like I said, I've heard some really amazing people cover his stuff. Jeff Scott Soto, the Foo Fighters. I even heard Joan Jett during a live show perform one of his songs. And
the cool thing about that, you talk about the Foo Fighters, he actually covered them at the Super Bowl a couple of years back, which I thought was cool. So
wow.
It was like they traded off like a mutual respect kind of thing.
Yeah, I actually didn't see that. That is very cool.
Yeah.
I know Prince is a huge music fan himself, so he's very well known for listening to a very diverse base of music. So
definitely, yeah. You know, it's funny with that particular song. I basically, you know, I had what I was planning on releasing a 6-song EP. But with that particular track, it took me a little bit longer than I was expecting to clear the rights and do everything legally, you know, to be allowed to cover that too. So I actually ended up releasing that one separately, just because it got hung up a little bit in terms of, you know, just getting the rights and all the legal things that I had to do to make that happen. So I ended up releasing that one kind of as a separate track on Reverb Nation, and it's also you know, on SoundCloud, but it's not actually on iTunes. So if you like that track and you want it, you can download it at my Reverb Nation page, or you can go to my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/JSINLYNCH music, and it's a free download. So if you like my Facebook page and sign my email list, you get that track for free.
Yes. Now, now that they know where to find the music, I was going to say, where can they find the music?
Yeah.
You were...
that...
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, as you know, the rest of my music, minus that little red Corvette cover, you can get on iTunes, you can get on Amazon.com, any of the major music sites.
Right. Awesome. Now, you're out of Boston, right?
Yeah, I'm about 35 minutes north of Boston. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's close, I mean.
Yeah, I'm in an area called, I grew up in a town called Andover, and then I lived in Haverhill for several years now. That whole region is Merrimack Valley area, north of Boston.
Right. Yeah, because one of my favorite bands of all time is from Boston, and that's, you know, when I got your thing and it said Boston, I was like, cool, you know, because there's a bunch of Boston bands I love, but obviously, you know, one of my favorite bands is Dropkick Murphys.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
And you know, I don't know how anybody can not like the Dropkick Murphys.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've seen them live many times. They're phenomenal. They're a great band.
I've never gotten to see them live. I've seen Flogging Molly a bunch of times, but I've never got to see Dropkick Murphys, and I will see them live before I die. So
yeah, definitely, man. You know, the times that I've seen them, they've had the full, you know, the bagpipes, the whole deal, and it's a great show.
Yeah, I'm going to do a show here in the very near future. Generally, I reserve it for St. Patrick's Day, but I think in the very near future, I'm going to do just a full-on show where it's nothing but Irish-oriented punk and metal and that kind of stuff. I really dig that sound.
I'm an Irishman myself. I'm sure you could tell from my last name, so it's right up my alley.
Yeah, I'm actually Irish and Norwegian, so it's kind of a weird mix. I guess, I don't know. Probably not. I guess if you know the true history of Ireland, it's really not that weird. But I guess for some people, you know, it might be weird thinking that somewhere along the lines the Irish and the Vikings actually weren't trying to kill each other.
Yeah, you know, cohabitating, coexisting.
Yeah, we'll call it that. At least not trying to raid each other's harbors.
Yeah, it's funny that you noticed that I was from Boston when I submitted my tracks. The thing that caught my attention was that you were out of Detroit, because a lot of my favorite bands are from the Detroit area.
Yeah.
Iggy Pop, The Stooges, Alice Cooper.
Yep.
There's a ton of Detroit area bands that I love.
Yeah, we have been very lucky as a city to have a ton of great bands that have blazed the path, and we're very lucky as a blazed the path, and we're very lucky as a network to have access to some really, really incredible bands that are coming up and out of Detroit. And as I've stated tonight, our goal really is to focus on the local, the independent, and the unsigned, and really try to put you guys out there as much as possible, because I've always loved local and underground music.
Yeah.
But I guess before I did this reverb thing, I didn't really have a full grasp on just how big it was.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, what you're doing is a huge service, because they're, and I feel like more and more, outlets are kind of popping up all over the place where bands can get heard, but there's just so much great underground, unsigned music out there, and when, you have these mainstream outlets who just won't even consider touching any of it, we're very lucky to have, people like you and Tap Detroit and, anyone else who's giving exposure to these bands.
Right.
It's pretty huge.
Yeah, and it's growing. It is a growing movement. More and more, I'm even